So let's talk about all of it, what it means for the industry, what it means for transportation and freight in general, and whether we could see more consolidation coming to the rails. Donald Broughton, Broughton Capital Managing Partner, joins me now. And Donald, it's great to have you on. Let's start right there.
Great to be here.
Because we haven't seen a mega merger in the rail industry. I mean, yes, Canadian Pacific and Kansas City a couple of years ago, but we haven't seen something big like this in more than 2 decades.
With all due respect, Morgan, Canadian Pacific buying Kansas City Southern is not a mega merger by anybody's imagination. The last attempt we had at a mega merger was in 1999 when the Burlington Northern and the Canadian National announced they were going to get hitched. And that was when we had the first Surface Transportation Board moratorium on further Class 1 mergers, which was supposed to last 18 months. And then as it dragged on after that expired, what happened was very clear to everyone that the Surface Transportation Board was just downright unfriendly towards further Class 1 mergers. But this is something whose time has come. I actually got teased by some of my colleagues who've known me since when I had hair, because I've been predicting this was going to happen for 20-something plus years.
So in light of that, do you think that this is going to make its way through regulators? Has the time now come for a change in sentiment towards a merger like this happening?
Absolutely. And there are a couple of basic reasons why. First of all, the last time there was a moratorium, it was because none of the railroads that were not involved in the Burlington Northern Canadian National merger were prepared to make a response, to make a similar type of merger. They all had leveraged up their balance sheets and doing acquisition after acquisition. The Union Pacific in particular had spent a lot of money on the Southern Pacific and was spending even more billions of dollars to fix it up, to bring it up to their standards of how railroads should be invested in. Meanwhile, the Norfolk Southern and the CSX had bid up the price of the Conrail to such a price that neither one of them could afford the whole thing, so they ended up splitting it up and ending up with leveraged balance sheets. But those have all been addressed. One. Two, this is a management team who's done acquisition after acquisition in their previous posts. Jim was the chief operating officer and did everything else at Canadian National. This is not his first rodeo. He's not daft. He understands how to do deals, and he understands how to negotiate with unions. I would tell you that most inspirational person I've ever seen dealing with unions was his mentor, Hunter Harrison. Hunter was very simple. He'd say, look, anyone who is not in a union, has a white-collar job, whether you're my CFO, controller, or you're mopping my floors at night, you must learn at least one, and preferably 2 union jobs, so that we can go to the union and say, look, we will not be able to run it as fast as we can with you, but we can keep the spice flow going. We can keep the railroad running until you decide to come back to work. 1. Then 2, he would challenge him. He'd say, look, I want you to behave better than any other union member in North America in the same job function. But in order for me to be able to afford to do that, you have to be going to be paid 20% more. You have to be 20% more efficient.
Okay.
If you'll work with me, I'll work with you. And he had a few run-ins, a few confrontations, but he stood firm. And the net result was the unions were challenged by him on a regular basis. But in the end, they respected him and they appreciated that he paid them.